there was another one that for sure is more of an RPG, and that is WB Games War in the North. And we weren't able to play it. We got booted for E3 judges who were too lazy to go to the pre-judge event, so that was fun. And but we did get to sit in a theater and watch people play it, and that looks like it's going to have online co-op. All three of you on your Xbox Live headset or PSN or whatever the heck it's supporting.
Both of those.
Both of those, yeah. And you get to play through Tolkien-esque action RPG, and it was more polished than Hunted, and of course it supports 3 players instead of just 2, which I don't know, 3 is a weird number, but it looked like it worked well enough. And it also had like all this voice acting and stuff. But Hunted had voice acting as well, but this had like British actors, and they were doing like that talking eagles and stuff. So you had a whole fantasy vibe thing going on. You get to go on and. We were going after Radagast, the brown mage or something like that. So. That should feed your fantasy kick a bit more. So you're gonna have some options here for co-op online RPG or RPG-like games, and I'm kind of excited to see that because we just haven't had a lot of that in the past.
Yeah, the War in the North was very dark, though. I don't know if the Tolkien fans are just gonna pick that right up.
Yeah, one thing that did disappoint me about Hunted was there is no local co-op. I know it seems minor, but it's nice to have a friend come over and play like a big RPG together, and you can't do that here.
Yeah, but I can understand it, the way we were trying to deal with different perspectives and working together, that if I had a split screen, it just wouldn't work out so well.
True enough, but then again, I always do that with Halo and Gears, and it's, you could argue that's the same thing, but we manage.
All right, what should we go to?
I went to Nintendo some more today, and I gotta tell you guys, Donkey Kong Country is as fun as it looks. It is just like the old Donkey Kong Country games, but with upgraded graphics and like nice co-op elements, so get a friend. I mean, you could always do that in Donkey Kong Country, but here, like, they've made it very nice where if one of you dies, instead of having to find extra lives and stuff, you just kind of shake it and you appear in a barrel, kind of like in New Super Mario Brothers Wii, where you appear in a bubble. Here you're in a barrel, and the other guy can break you out, and you can get back going together. So as long as one of you are alive, you keep going. And they had the minecart level, just like everybody loves in the Donkey Kong Country games, and it was just as fun as I remember, and I really can't wait to get it. We also played Pokemon.
I don't know if we played Pokemon. I played Pokemon.
I played Pokemon too.
Oh, you did?
The arcade mode, and you were in the adventure mode.
No, I was doing minigames.
Oh, you weren't supposed to be.
Too bad. So yeah, I played the water racing game. I was very bad. I played the bugger. I don't remember what the second one was, because the one that really caught me was like this little breakout game. There was a Pokemon in the front of all these 5 doors, and you were just bouncing back and forth, and I totally smashed that record. That record wasn't even close.
Nice.
So, yeah, yet another Pokemon game that doesn't really have anything to do with your Pokemon collection or anything, but, if you need something to do and you need 3D Pokemon, there you go.
They have an adventure mode, which I guess neither of us tried, and I think you can fight and stuff in that, but it's still not a normal Pokemon game. I
was asking people about that, and they said, you're not using your you're not using your DS Pokemon. You may be using stock Pokemon with their moves and stuff, but you're not using your specially trained.
I think if we're going to talk about like side stuff, like you mentioned Donkey Kong, something that might be worth mentioning is Rage, which seems like imagine Fallout, but taking like 2 steps over more to the shooter mechanics. Because it seems like the world they created seems very much like Fallout 3, and it seems like the interactions you have with characters, the way you talk to people, the way you get quests, and the way you sort of build and collect stuff in that world is very much an RPG. But instead of the turn-based battle, just straight up shoot, shoot, shoot. So it just seems strange to see like the spectrum. Like here's the middle of first-person shooter RPGs, and here's Fallout, and right on the other side, at like equal distance, is Rage. So, and plus it looks really good.
Yeah, I liked the demo of Rage. It was good because Fallout, I always felt to me, it was like depressing. Everybody, it's the post-apocalypse. Everybody's, kind of dead or upset or everything. And this is more like, while it's fighting for survival and it's, bloody and gory and stuff, it's not like, it's not sad. You're all trying to do something, not just survive, but really take over things and build up your.
Rebel against the authority.
Yeah. Oh, gee, I wonder what the authority will be.
It feels like it's like maybe if it had like 2% more RPG-ness, we would cover it. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the demo, it was pretty much all action, but you never know. They might sneak in a good system like Fallout does, and then we'd be a lot closer.
Yeah. You tried out Magic the Gathering Tactics today.
Yes, I did. That was a surprise. We walked right into, it was West Hall, and right there, right smack in front of us was Magic the Gathering Tactics, and we
I've heard of it.
Yeah, that's just from Sony Online, and they were pretty much like, well, yeah, we didn't know we were going to be, and here we are, and surprise. So what they basically do is they're going to take the cards that everybody loves, and you don't have to have a deck per se. What you have a list of abilities and a list of creatures that you can have in your quote deck, and they come up relatively as you expect them. And the mana system was a little confusing. It was like based on the build of your deck, you might get this kind of mana each round. It was really tricky. It was very alpha, so they had a lot of issues with that. We have some coverage of that as well.
Video on there. The sound might, but you got a lot of his explanations in the background there. Hopefully you can hear it to pick it up. It was very involved, so it sounds like it's not just going to be like, oh, I know Magic rules, I'm going to jump right in. No, you're going to have to learn this system's rules, and yeah. Some of the shuffling, and the deck's a lot smaller than like a normal Magic deck. So you were picking like 5 creatures, and then I guess it puts 5 of each of those creatures in there, and then and then abilities, and however many of those abilities, and then shuffles it up, decides what you get, right?
Well, for the most part, with the demo, he was like, you can build a deck, but the deck we have is pretty much stacked.
The one they had is stacked.
Yeah, because they don't want to be like, all right, well,
they didn't want a bad demo.
Right. You know, they give you lots of mana, lots of cards, lots of creatures. They're just like, we want to give you everything you can to win. We don't really have everything balanced. We just want people to have fun. But yeah, unlike Duels of the Planeswalkers, it was not like I could pick it up and take off with it. I had to really have someone explain it to me and read a lot, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, some of the mechanics they had there were, you know, it's a square-based grid system. They had some creatures that take up 4 squares, most that take 1. Your Planeswalker, you know, in the Magic lore, Planeswalker is the one who summons creatures and uses spells. You're on the field there, and you can be killed or taken out of the fight, I guess. And that affects the ability to heal and regen and get more mana and summon new creatures. And then, you know, you're battling out the creatures versus each other with their own special abilities and whatnot. And then it looks like you had a bunch of spells for your Planeswalker to cast to help affect the fight and buff creatures and attack creatures directly, right?
Well, the typical magical things, or Magic the Gathering, you had the enhancements, the sorcery instance, the things like, you know, you want your counter, you want your one-turn things, you want your enchantments. Well, now this person can shoot at everyone each round because they can. There was no, you know, there wasn't really a reason, but you had to make sure you save the mana for it. You can't just go off and be like, well, I'll just use all my stuff and then next turn regen.